guys are good to go.
All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Moore.
Here.
Councilwoman McNamara. Here. Councilman Iles.
It's a long day today, too.
Councilman Martin.
Here.
All right, good, very good. So we're going to start the meeting today with our annual report of the Sustainability Committee. Thank you all for joining us today. Why don't you, if you want to do a quick introduction for people watching, just start down.
Dieter von Esten, ex-co-chair of the Sustainability.
Former co-chair. How long were you the chair? It was a lot of years, right?
13 years.
Right, great.
I joined in 11, and the committee was formed in 08. So now, finito.
But that's why he's smiling.
But you're still staying on the committee, so that's good news.
Lynn Arthur, new co-chair, and big shoes to fill, but I'm the new Dieter.
Okay.
Evan Mason.
Hi, I'm Mark McIntyre. I'm one of the new co-chairs as well.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Joe Lamport.
Suzanne Jansen.
And Gloria Burke, former co-chair.
Hi, Gloria. Good to see you all. Thanks for coming. So you've handed out the update, but you also have it on the screen. I understand some of the graphics might not show up, but we'll see as we go. So why don't you talk us through what we have?
Okay, I'm making an opening statement
Okay.
To the council member, Ms. Maria. I am taking this as my last sort of official announcement as we voted a new management to our Sustainability Committee, and Glorian and I had decided to retire to make space for the young generation. Here they are. I think that what has happened with this committee over this long time has been quite fruitful, and a special thanks to all of you who have been there in the past to helping us to achieve things. And we appreciate very much that the town council has always assisted in what we have been doing. For otherwise, as we're all volunteers, it would be depressing if you work and nothing comes out of it. So that's my thank you. And that's all I have to say today. I'm handing it over to the new co-chair, Lynn Arthur.
Thank you, Dieter. Thank you for your commitment to the committee and the town for all these years.
And you know, Dieter.
And Glorian as
Yeah,
well.
Glorian. The people should know it was because of your leadership that, you know, the board was able to move forward on the sustainability element, a critical addendum to the comp plan, as well as the climate action plan, and is an inspiration to helping us find a number of different ways that we could be sustainable in Southampton, from looking at renewable energy, but also carbon sequestration, the preservation of our environment and our trees, and we're looking at all those different avenues. So thank you, Dieter and Glorian, for your leadership.
Okay. So we begin by referencing the 2008 resolution that established the committee. The full copy, by the way, is in the appendix. It's also, there's a couple of attachments. But to summarize, those obligations include advising the town board on economic and environmentally sustainable practices, suggesting programs, recommending policy, legislation, and code amendments, consider ways to develop green jobs, assist with programs to advise and educate, engage with partners, and develop annual reports. And by the end of this meeting, we aim to have touched on how this committee of volunteers have met all the obligations outlined in this resolution. One of the slides that didn't come through. Well, these are the policies, programs, and local legislation that serve as our guiding principles. And we pay close attention to the regulatory environment. For example, In July 2019, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, also referred to as the CLCPA, set targets for sourcing electricity from 100% emission-free sources by 2040, while the town set a similar goal to be 100% renewable by 2030. The 10 icons across the bottom were lifted directly from the 400 Plus plan. They represent the 10 focus areas in the plan. Today we will touch on 6 where the committee has been the most active. The 6 slides that follow contain the goal of each focus area exactly as it appears in the 400 Plus plan. And the rectangles on the left side of each slide correspond to the associated topics recommended in the plan for that focus area. Our aim with the format of these 6 slides is to provide the audience a point of reference if you want to dig in further later. Links to these documents are also in the appendix of this presentation, and we hope this presentation will be posted on the sustainability website, the town website. And now over to Evan.
Hi, I'm Evan Mason. I live in Sagaponack, and I thank you so much for having us. I was thinking about who we are, because we know who you are when you run for office. You have to post resumes, you have to introduce yourself to the community, and we know a little bit about what you think because of that. But who are we? Yes, we're volunteers. So I wanted to sort of fill that in. Oh, you can see it on the thing. But we have a lot of experience. We're retired, semi-retired, not retired. We would like to get more young people, which is something I didn't run by everybody, but I think young people would be a good thing to, a good group of people to include, more than we are right now. We have building science expertise, engineering expertise, public event planning expertise, community organizing expertise, affordable housing design, contracting, we have a contractor, landscape design, community composting expertise. We have a lot of expertise, and that's not to, it's a way of sort of saying we can be helpful to you in various ways. One person will pop up and say, oh, I have this expertise, and I'd like to share what I know. So, and thanks to the way the committee has been running and been run, we're able to say, oh, I'm really interested in composting, and get somebody who's really good at that and can pursue that. So I just wanted to give that by way of background. The next slide is that this is sort of an outreach and education slide. We are pursuing a vision of expanding our efforts to really get out there in the community, to amplify your message, to explain, our stances, like if you want to take composting or any of the other issues, gas lease blower, whatever the issues. We're out there as a resource to the community, and we want to partner with you to help you, get out your message. Or if we're out in, say, an Earth Day event and we get feedback, we want to make sure that you get that feedback. And you're out there in the community a lot too, so hopefully we'll be hearing the same messages, but sometimes we may not. And then the last thing I'm going to say is that in the summer, I have a sort of a personal interest because I'm a part-timer. I know that's not cool to say sometimes, but the part-timers impact our our greenhouse gas emissions. And I would like to reach out more to get more of those people involved because they have such a great impact on traffic and other things. So in that spirit, we'd like to do a water-focused seminar, a free event this summer. Mark will talk about that more. And if it's successful, we can do replicable events. In other words, make it easier as time goes on to hold outreach events. And I think I have.
If I could, I just want to say very briefly that Evan, you've done a great job, especially with some of the other members here. One of the things that when I came on board, we did discuss enhancing outreach, and there's been a very I think obvious effort to finding a number of different ways, whether it's through PSAs, going to events, going to all the various groups. Lynn, I know you're always out and about as well. Thank you for taking that initiative to the next step this last couple of years.
Joe and Suzanne.
Okay, thanks. Joe Lamport, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Evan. So my topic that I'm talking about today is composting, but more broadly, it really is zero waste management to be understood. It's sort of the flip side. America's great productivity is what a wasteful country we can be, and paying more attention to our waste and what we can realize the incredible value that's contained there is something that is core to what we're doing. So we start with compost, though, because it's the low-hanging fruit, if you will, or more appropriately, the rotting fruit that's available for us to really seize on. The EPA estimates that as much as 25% of all the waste that finds its way to the country's landfills and incinerators are consists of food scraps, and that's just insane from a public policy and environmental point of view, because you're paying for the trucking costs, you're generating excess greenhouse gases when those food scraps end up being burned or dumped in a landfill. Much more rational policy is to keep it close to home and make compost with it. So we've been very active the last couple of years in dialogue with Tom Houghton, the town engineer, encouraging him to try to find a way to make that step forward. We're really hopeful this year we would get a breakthrough and set up a small pilot program. We are delighted to be here today, sitting to report that Tom has embraced this approach wholeheartedly, not with a small pilot, but we've actually, Tom's and his crew have set up compost bins or food collection bins at 3 of the 4 transfer stations already, and soon we're going to add the 4th at West Hampton Beach. So we're in the game, and that's really fantastic news.
Did you say 25% of the materials that go to the transfer stations are food waste?
This is a nationwide estimate by the EPA, but that is, if it's consistent with practice elsewhere, that's absolutely right.
Wow, that's
so that's
surprising.
That's a huge opportunity for us from a enhancing sustainability point of view. So, but what everybody has learned so far in this process is in composting, if you build it, they won't necessarily come. There's a very slow ramp up here, and that's really primarily because when you talk about this, you're really talking about people's daily habits at home, what they do in the kitchen, what they do with their trash. So it takes time, and this has been consistent to all the other towns on the East End that have already started down this path, in Southold, Riverhead, and East Hampton. Have seen very, very gradual change in residents in terms of accepting this opportunity. And our initial experience here in Southampton has been the same. The first month Tom was collecting in Hampton Bays, we got a total of about 300 pounds of scraps. That's out of a capacity of 2 tons a month that he can collect. So we've got a lot of headroom, if you will, a lot we can do to improve this. And this fits in exactly with what Evan was talking about. Our primary focus now on the committee is outreach, getting the word out about what this is, why it's so useful for both residents as a way to save money. If they're self-haulers, they can reduce the amount that goes into their green bags and save money. Can save money for the town by reducing trucking costs to get the green bags off to the landfill, and we can make a dent in greenhouse gas emissions as well. So it's really win-win-win. Our outreach efforts are going to be across the board. We're going to be making appearances at local civic association meetings, wherever we have an opportunity to have a speaker. We're lining these things up. We're also going to be at the summer markets. We've been in Sag Harbor up until now. We're going to be at Southampton and West Hampton Beach this summer as well, we hope, with a bin. So we're working with the town. Tom is going to arrange to have trucks come to pick the scraps up from bins at the summer markets. So hopefully over the next 6 months, we'll see a real upsurge. We have a total of 6 tons of capacity of food scraps into the current setup. So hopefully, between now and the summer months, we'll really be able to move the needle and see a substantial increase there.
And that'll be 8 tons once the West Hampton containers go in?
No, because we can't, the Sag Harbor only collects, so the tonnage is a function of where you're actually making the compost. We'll only be making compost in West Hampton Beach, North Sea, and Hampton Bays. There's just not enough room in Sag for us to be actually composting there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, that capacity limit is fairly low, given the population of 70,000 people. But we can increase that over time if we go through a permitting process. That's just we've registered, the town is registered with the DEC to facilitate the compost operation. But if we go through permitting, our capacity would be substantially increased. So it's good news. It's really good news, and we want to get the word out, and that's our job now.
And I know, Joe, you've been advocating for this for a while, Mark. And I just want to mention that a lot of the progress that Tom made on this is because of a lot of the work that Councilman Pell actually took the lead on some of this and really helped this to happen. So thank you for your work on that.
It was a team effort.
Yeah, Tom's very interested in this
Yeah.
sort of thing, so we've got a good guy to work with
Yes.
on the staff.
I compost at home, but I have chickens.
That's
Feed it to the
great, and a
chickens.
lot of the community was happy about it too, having this opportunity that
Well-
we got feedback.
Well, one thing that I think everyone who starts down this path realizes is there's a great benefit just by participating in these programs, because it makes everybody so much more aware of what waste they generate and what they can do to have an impact. And so I think there's a real important participatory element here about getting as many people in town involved as possible.
I think that's a good point because, we're not all mindful of what we do each day. We have to be more intentional, and this would really help
Absolutely.
people be more aware of what they're producing. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Oh, let me introduce, sorry about that, Suzanne Jansen, who's going to talk about plastic waste.
Good morning. I am Suzanne Jansen. I live in East Quogue, and I'm here to speak about plastic pollution, a critical issue that affects our environment, our health, and our future. It's not just an abstract problem. A Siena poll that was taken in May of 2024, 83% of New Yorkers agree that plastic pollution is a societal problem. One practical and impactful step Southampton Town could take is to implement a program called Skip the Stuff. Skip the Stuff is a policy initiative designed to reduce waste from single-use items in takeout and delivery orders by requiring restaurants and food delivery services to provide utensils, condiment packages, napkins, and extra containers only upon customer request. This initiative helps cut down on unnecessary waste, benefiting the environment and promoting sustainable practices. Legislation supporting Skip the Stuff has already been approved in New York City, Westchester County, and East Hampton Village. 9 states throughout America, as well as Washington, D.C., have towns who participate in programs. The Sustainable Committee fully supports this initiative, recognizing that only 6% of plastic waste are effectively recycled nationwide. These findings were accepted by the EPA in 2021 based on 2 independent studies. The report also reveals that while plastic recycling is on the decline, the per capita generation of plastic waste has increased by 263% since 1980. The rest ends up in landfills, incinerators, or as environmental pollution. Making simple changes like opting out of non-essential single-use plastics is a small but crucial step towards a healthier planet. Sag Harbor has agreed to partner with the Skip the Stuff program to help educate restaurants, shop owners, and the broader community on the importance of eliminating single-use plastics. Through surveys, one-on-one discussions, petitions, and meetings, we will raise awareness about the environment and economic benefits of reducing plastic waste. By cutting down on non-recyclable refuse, this initiative will not only protect our environment, but also lead to cost savings for both local businesses and taxpayers. A 90-day pilot program will be conducted for the months May, June, and July of this year. This initiative will collect data on the year-round population, summer rental visitors, and day tours to better understand individual concerns and opinions about the plastic crisis and how they feel they can create some involvement. The insights gathered from this campaign will be invaluable to ongoing community and policy discussions on this pressing environmental issue. As such, I respectfully request consideration for a slot at the August meeting to present these findings. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to the opportunity to discuss further curtailing plastic waste management in Southampton.
Thank you.
Suzanne. Sure, we can put that on one of the August meetings for you to come back and talk to us.
Thank you.
If you, all right, Janice isn't here, but I'll ask her. You could coordinate directly with Janice Wilson.
Yes.
She can put you on the agenda.
Any questions?
I just want to say, Suzanne, your work on this is really admirable. Not only do you advocate here in your local community, but you've gone to Washington. You've met with our local our national lawmakers, I should say, and really appreciate all the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I'll turn it over to Mark.
Good morning. I'm Mark McIntyre. I live in Shinnecock Hills. I retired from the city of New York after 27 years in 2023. I ran the Brownfield program for the mayor in the city. So today, I wanted to share with you two ideas about water. One is about how we might improve water quality. The other is about strengthening coastal resilience. So on water quality, to protect our surface water and our groundwater, we need to open the town's septic rebate program that pays eligible homeowners who install the new low nitrogen septic systems $20,000. We need to open that program to all homeowners across the town. As we know, Chris Gobler at Stony Brook has documented this extensively. Too much nitrogen flows into our bays. So every summer, during the hottest weeks, there are harmful blooms of algae that appear in our bays, in our ponds, that threaten public health. That's true. They also, in the water itself, it lowers dissolved oxygen, which is harmful to aquatic life. Another way of saying the same thing, low dissolved oxygen is hell in the fishing. The largest source of nitrogen reaching our bays is from residential septics. But what's interesting is that the only new low-flow septic systems that are being installed in Southampton today are new construction, where they're forced to implement this innovation, not existing homeowners. The rebate program that we have covers less than half the town geographically. And it benefits those who live closest to the water. In other words, there's an equity issue here. Regular folks who live further back from the water, if they were to upgrade to low nitrogen, they get nothing. So as we consider this program, we should look to the East Hampton septic rebate program. There, no matter where you live, if you upgrade, you get the rebate. We should do the same thing here. We need to encourage far more homeowners to make this switch. It's a difficult one. You know, it requires tearing up your lawn. It's not easy. We need far more homeowners to do this, and
I think
reforming
that's a
our
good
septic
point.
program is a good place to start.
I believe that would have been an unintended consequence of the program. You know, when it first started, I'm sure the board thought that's the most environmentally sensitive areas, so let's make sure the grant money's available to them. But now we know, of course, the nitrogen is always making its way, even if it is years that it'll take to get there. So I think that's something we should consider, just taking the geographic limits off. But, you know, we'll have to talk about that as a
I'm
board.
for that. That was one of my pet peeves with this program. And plus, there's a lot of freshwater wetlands way inland, which people don't even realize that what it affects.
Yeah.
We know, Mark, with East Hampton Town, as far as the applications, are they being overwhelmed? Do they have the money for it, or do we know anything?
I don't know
can
the
check,
East
obviously,
Hampton
but-
program.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, I mean, you think about it, well, we have a CPF fund which pays these rebates, and you know, is this going to overwhelm CPF? I wish there was that problem. It's more to just get some folks to do this. That is the existing homeowners, not the folks who
I think
are
that
required
the
to
board
do
can look into it with your help. And,
Yeah, and I'll check with Scott
it.
Wilson.
Yeah, I just don't know the answer to
Right,
the
right.
question.
No, I can check with Scott over.
We also have to balance, because it is also, we can only use a percentage of CPF for water quality projects.
120, right.
And yeah, and so if we're doing large, you know, sewerage systems that are gonna capture bigger areas, and we need the money for that, some years we may not have enough. We have to make sure if we're gonna do this, it has to be, you know, something we put in place and we can fund going forward.
But we do
But it is
always
good.
put about $3 million a year aside for the IA systems, and I'd have to check. I don't know if that's
We'll find it.
depleted every
Yeah, I don't
year.
think
I
so.
doubt that. You know, but a good thing to do would be to get more education out in the public so people know the benefits. Although it's not helpful that there have been issues with the systems that, you know, some aren't performing as well as they were suggested that they would.
Will
And
require maintenance.
yeah, and that Stony Brook is, you know, looking at a new feature now to add like a wood chip section of it. So things keep changing, and maybe that's why there's a little reluctance for people to jump in. Oh, was it?
They got
The new
approval for that system.
Oh, excellent.
We have to find a balance.
Yeah. But we've definitely talked about that the issue of it should be applied to the whole town. It makes sense, obviously. And there's that economic imbalance too, right?
We shouldn't also forget that the Suffolk County has that tax money, and they need to ramp up their part of it, that maybe we can prod them to get, because there's gonna be a lot of money from the 1/4% or 1/8%.
It's already,
Yeah.
it's already active. I mean, you can apply through the county. So the thing is that you can bundle funds.
Right.
You could get county funding. And in fact, when you apply for septic improvement funds through the town, it is also stated that you can also do so through the county.
Yes.
So because the town's funds can't cover it alone. You need, especially if you don't have the income, you would, as an applicant, would want to actually apply with the county as well.
Right.
But maybe through, since there is a way for applicants to get county funding as well, perhaps for folks that aren't in low-lying areas that wouldn't qualify, maybe we can sort of tweak the law that if you are in an area that isn't really considered the critical area, you can receive a percentage of that coupled with whatever the county gives. I mean, there's ways that I think we can.
I just didn't want to lose sight. We've also got that
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I mean, there's more outreach needed too, because I think a lot of people don't understand, like you made the comment about ripping up your lawn, and people don't understand where you can't use the county grant to do landscaping and remediation. The town grant can be used for that. So that kind of, when people hear that, they're like, okay, well, if I can use the funds for that as well and fix what gets damaged, then, they're more inclined to want to sign up. But a lot of people don't know that they can actually use the funds, the town funds for that.
Evan reminds me, our committee's going to seeking to have a presentation this summer for residents about these new systems.
Oh, good.
And also about proper lawn care management. So we hope to do that in July.
It may be prudent for the committee to also meet with Peconic Estuary Partnership because they are going to be, we're funding them. So it may be prudent to work together to create some sort of dialogue for the community. So I know that they're very much interested as part of their upcoming annual agenda to start beginning the process of outreach and education to the communities.
They're doing a bundle with us because you don't recreate the
the wheel.
Yeah,
That's
no,
always a
they
challenge.
just said it at their meeting with us, that they are creating educational materials for this, and they're happy to share that with whatever organizations would like to partner with them, so.
Just one.
Where's your
excuse me.
presentation that you're talking about for this in the summer? What's that going to be?
We haven't solidified it. We have some ideas. It would be free, obviously, in the town, and it would be easily accessible. I have some ideas, but no commitments.
You might want to do it east and west.
Yeah. Well, the idea is to do a replicable event, so maybe we do, and maybe two a year, one during the summer, one winter. That's what we're playing with, but we can't get going before July. I mean, that would be our debut, if you will.
Good.
Yes, and both east and west of the canal.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Just 15 more seconds on the rebate program. According to one of the distributors of the new systems, the town unfortunately has a reputation of being a slow payer. So if you're a homeowner and you install, you can wait 6 to 9 months before you get the $20,000 check. And maybe there's a way to speed that up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something.
We've been talking.
We have been talking about that.
You're way ahead.
Not sure why that's
Yeah,
happening.
but good that you brought it up, so it lights a little bit fire underneath other people's.
Yeah.
So you're up on it. So, okay. No need
Try
to,
to,
no need
try
to
to streamline the paperwork
Yes.
on this end.
The whole town hall.
Well, thank
Not only
you.
just the back departments, a couple others.
Okay, well, good. Looking for a solution.
Yeah, thank you.
The other idea was coastal resilience. Just take a moment. The really important way to strengthen coastal resilience in Southampton is to create more wetlands on town-owned land, on the waterfront, of course. Wetlands absolutely play critical roles in environmental protection. They absorb wave energy. That's where the coastal resilience benefits come from. Wetlands function as a nursery for all aquatic life. So that, the mussels, the shell, the oysters, the clams, the fish, they all evolved from life forms that started in wetlands. And wetlands also hold back pollution, land pollution from reaching the waters.
It's like a filter system.
So they're absolutely critical. Moreover, what's great about this idea is that we can create more wetlands without a big hit on the town's resources. We can partner with Cornell Cooperative Extension Marine. We can partner with Stony Brook, perhaps maybe the Peconic Land Trust as well. What do they bring? They bring technical expertise, and they bring grant funds. The other thing we can do is we can encourage our high school students to spend part of a weekend planting wetland grasses. So we can bring folks together to get this done. If we plant wetlands in appropriate locations, wetlands are not going to go on every water's edge. But if we plant them in appropriate locations, we can strengthen coastal resilience, and we can improve the health of our waters over time. I would love to work with you on that idea if you'd like to pick it up.
So I'll just say, I feel like I'm talking too much. This
go
is the hopefully the last thing that I'll say. But Mark, it's such an important part, I think, and great for the sustainability committee to pick up, because I think the town has, and probably Rick and Cindy know this, and actually Bill, you may know as well, but the town has a coastal resource management plan, and I mentioned this at a couple of the sustainability meetings. That could be a guide to helping identify where these coastal resilience efforts can actually be aimed. Because one of the things that I've observed about the plan is that there's little action driven in it. So if there's a way to sort of come up with some addendum to that, to create some sort of action items, and maybe this is where you come in with some of your ideas, maybe a really good way to kind of come full circle with that coastal management effort that they did back in, I think it was 2015 or 16.
I would think also you'd want to meet with Marty Shea, who's the
Yes.
head of our environmental division, because I'm sure he's got a lot of good ideas
Yeah.
about where this could go.
I was going to say this is music to his ears.
Yes,
Everything you just
exactly. I
said.
think he
Mr.
would love
Wetlands.
this.
He's been advocating for years and years.
I mean, we're doing it with
The
private
hardening, the
properties.
coastal.
Right, but
Do it with
you
our
all
own.
do, the town either does a capital project on the shore, or highway does a capital project on the shore, and look around, say maybe there's an opportunity to augment that with a wetland, depending upon what the waterfront, whether there's erosion, whether there's no more than moderate wave energy, wetlands really can thrive.
Yeah,
We,
that's a
as
good
board
point.
members, we all bring, just like your board, we bring different things up to the board. And that's one of the things I brought to this board is low silt bulkheads and making wetlands in between and fixing the drainage.
Yeah, and you've pointed that out in a few
Yes.
areas
Yeah,
throughout the
I think
town.
right now, I think we have like 8 projects going. Hopefully be going in front of the water quality board, and I think one's already funded, waiting for permits.
Where is that project, Bill?
It goes from some of the east of the canal, some of the west of the canal, some on the bay.
Like there's one in Spionk.
One in Spionk. Actually, there's I think 3 in West Hampton.
Anything in Alewife Creek?
Not yet. We're still looking at that one. We want to talk to the county about fixing the culvert goes underneath the county road.
Yeah.
But we have something going on Trout Pond.
Trout Pond Culvert, yep.
That's a big project with a fish ladder there. Corwin Lane in Hampton Bays, redo the Hampton Bays, redo the boat ramp and fix it so the water doesn't run from that development to the east of Corwin down into the water, into the wetlands. And the water what runs down the road, what does it go into the bay? Let's see what else. I showed them all to Mark.
Yeah, all these changes, they might seem
Sabonic
small,
Road.
but they make a difference.
At Cold Spring Pond, try to repitch the road, and there's 6 culverts will go across from south of Sabonic Road into Cold Spring to fix those. We don't think that it's feasible there for L-wise, because when you go in there, that's all wetlands, and it's not really dug out. So there is a couple of
Can't get
ponds.
through that. You
No.
can't get through that.
But it drains, a lot of water drains from there. So we want to fix it so when the water comes out, it's halfway clean. Because that part of Scholar Pond is closed for clamming, because the nitrates are so high in that corner. Let's see, what else? Help me with this. I showed you the list.
I can't remember.
I know.
Yeah, there's so many, but you can see
Yeah,
something
we're
we really
trying.
want to do.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
There's also, I mean, anytime highway department does a drainage tries to solve a drainage problem now, they're looking at greener ways to go about doing that and treat the water before it, not just putting it in a dry well anymore. And
They're playing a critical role.
Yeah, we're trying to, upgrade that. And the latest thing is, you know, we brought the Baykeeper in to, I showed him the same stuff he mentioned, river otters, and they're slowly coming back. So now we're looking at, when we do the culverts, make it feasible for the river otters to go through them.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
We also have a piece of property in Riverside that we're creating a constructed wetland on.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's already in the works. It's a lot of these projects, unfortunately, takes a long time.
Yeah.
Hope I'm still on the board when they finally get done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the end
It's
of
only
Long
been a
Neck
year, we
Boulevard.
already got a lot
Excuse me?
going.
The end of Long Neck Boulevard.
Yeah, it's another one. That's
I didn't know that. That's great.
Wheels Land, and it's another one.
In the
And
interest
thank
of,
you.
this has been
going
awesome, so
backwards.
exciting. This is why our meetings are long, and we talk a lot. In the interest of time, I'm going to make it quick because we've covered a lot of the education items. Just in the future, some of the things we're going to highlight, in addition to water, energy efficiency, heat pump upgrades, electrification, and developing resources in Spanish. Our new flyer is thanks to Seth's wife, who habla español. We think that's important to reach out to the Spanish speaking
sure.
community as well. And then who's next? Wait, let me see. Lynn, there you go.
Okay. So here's an example of what being a model of sustainability looks like. When NYSERDA's marquee program was sunset last November, Southampton Town was named regional leader, meaning our community campaigns propelled Southampton Town ahead of all municipalities on Long Island. Your Clean Energy Communities campaign hit all the objectives in the resolution. Overall, in 2024 alone, the town paid a subcontractor $22,000 who orchestrated 2 programs that returned $405,000 in grant funding. That's an 18 times ROI. Which Municipal Works utilized to underwrite several capital projects, including solar panels on town facilities. In addition, we escalated community concern over perceived LIPA mismanagement concerning the visual benefits assessment charge on monthly bills of 60,000 Southampton ratepayers, and the Public Service Commission conducted an investigation as a result. Now, despite all the success we had on the path to community choice aggregation, a regulatory hurdle became the obstacle we could not overcome, so that program is on the back burner. And we just have 2 recommendations at this time. One is to engage more utility-scale solar where possible, possibly Damascus, maybe on a sand mine property, maybe we've already talked to Ed Romaine about making available some county parcels, you know, within the town borders to see if that's suitable for a project. And the second one is to prioritize next steps for the climate action plan and be sure, and this is really critical, to involve the public in the planning process thereof. Okay.
Yeah, Damascus, I mean, it's still, we're working through some legal issues there, but that might be a good opportunity in the future. And we are expanding where we just put on the North Sea landfill, we're gonna put the solar panels on the roof of the SYS.
Oh, you able to do that? Awesome.
We're replacing the roof. We're partnering with SYS to
wow.
replace the roof.
That's news. Great. That's great news. Okay, so speaking of that, we wanted to dig in a little deeper on that one project because, in our opinion, that particular project exemplifies both the value and expertise, as Evan mentioned, that the committee brings to the town board and the town residents. A few of you were at the ribbon cutting ceremony, during which former Deputy Supervisor Frank Sapone acknowledged that the idea of a utility scale solar array on the town landfill actually originated with this committee. We attended events hosted by Sustainable Westchester years ago where we heard about community solar on municipal landfills built upstate. We brought the idea back to the committee, introduced the concept to board members and town staff. Now, this chart that Dieter's holding up.
Vanna,
Very distinguished.
I created that chart from data that I foiled from LIPA to illustrate to the town board at the time, and Cindy, I think you were here when we first pulled this up, to illustrate how a utility-scale solar array on the North Sea Transfer Station is the right project at the right location at the right time. Because as a result of the pandemic, density grew tremendously, and as a result, so did the demand for electricity, in this case between the canal and the border with East Hampton. That's known as the east of the canal load pocket, which is exemplified on the bottom. You could put that down now, Ben. Thank you. So in the years that followed, the town engineer, deputy supervisor, and town board drove the flawless project that resulted in the construction recently completed. The committee was not involved in any of that. However, the committee did recommend the town engage in round 3 of NYSERDA's Clean Energy Community Grant Program and recommended the town board prioritize low-income households for benefits. As a result, about 500 residents, of which 25% are from the low-income community, and the majority of the town's PSEG accounts became subscribers, who will receive approximately 8% off the annual cost of electricity for the duration of that contract. So that's like getting 1 month free electricity for 20 years. The town will also receive $1.6 million in lease revenue over the same term, and an estimated 733 homes will be powered by electricity generated from 100% renewable energy. And I heard at the ribbon cutting ceremony that 70 local prevailing wage jobs were generated during construction. So, and finally, as it relates to leadership, the town of Southampton has the added distinction of being the first municipal-led operational community solar project on Long Island, and I understand the bill credits are finally going to start flowing next month. I heard that as recently as yesterday, but we'll see.
Well, thank you for everything you did to get people to sign up for those credits. That was a lot of work, I know, and you were attending a lot of events and getting the word out.
And it was, and I have to tell you, it was a lot of fun. It really was, to talk, the people at Riverwoods in particular, I was there at least 12 times. They are, well, because they needed explaining and questions and, repetition, and they tell their friends, and I get phone calls. But it was really a very rewarding experience. So I thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's an important feature. I had recently had a meeting with the other supervisors in Suffolk County, and I was telling them about this, and they were all very impressed and looking to find out, how did you do it? Can we have a copy of the lease agreement? Southold has a capped landfill of its own that they're looking now to do something like this. Riverhead's also, I think is in progress. So glad we were first, and we're leading the way with these important initiatives. And thank you all for everything you did to make it happen.
Maria, I have to add one sentence to that. It is not really the Sustainability Committee's project, it's Lynn's project. Single-handedly, she did virtually all of these things. So, Lynn,
well, thanks.
Kudos to you.
It's nice to get the recognition, but truly, we talked about this, it's in the minutes, for years. And it was the lobbying of all of us going to Christine Fenton before Tom Houghton. But Frank, without Frank and the staff,
Frank was so dedicated to this.
And the board,
also,
without the board's support, forget it.
That shows the cooperation which we have been receiving in the past from the board to get projects going. I think that's so important. And it is really giving impetus to the group. Yes, we are volunteers. We have been recognized. We keep going.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Glorian, you're up.
The committee is suggesting that the planning department create sustainability standards for commercial properties, similar to the HERS standards for residential buildings. We understand the state may also be providing updated standards for each of the towns. These standards may be rolled into the planned update to the master plan, as I am assuming that zoning will be part of the discussion. In the past, most commercial construction was for contractor use, which included warehousing, vehicle storage, and office space, with limited heating and cooling requirements. But there still may be options for sustainability components here, certainly charging stations and maybe solar rooftops. over the past several years, we're seeing medical office buildings being erected and additional buildings similar to that are being planned. This type of building construction offers a great opportunity for enhanced sustainability elements. A HERS-like code would allow the builder to choose the best options to meet the new code similar to their home construction rules. The large parking lots are another opportunity for sustainable efforts. For example, obviously installing electric charging stations by creating rain gardens to eliminate runoff and using permeable pavers instead of blacktop except where you have handicapped spaces. This is an area that I personally would like to work on, and I think some of the committee would like to work with the town to really take the commercial side of our construction to the level where residential is now. Thank you.
Thank you, those are all good ideas.
Lynn, I
Yes.
believe you're
We, so we're seeking but have yet to identify a volunteer on the committee to lead transportation, which coincidentally is one of the leading causes of greenhouse gases. Fun fact we discovered when we ran the EV 101 education at Bridgehampton is that residents out here in Southampton are buying EVs at a rate of 70 a month. Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty significant. But because we're volunteers, we need at least one person on the committee to have the passion for each topic. Otherwise, it just goes nowhere. So that's why transportation is sort of, those guys just hanging out. And the last chart, where do we go from here? In summary, obviously, our shovel-ready initiatives are in the area of reducing waste. And unless, you all direct us otherwise, we're going to be spending a lot of focus on water quality. And as soon as we have something consequential for your consideration in either one of these areas, we'll ask for a work session, as Suzanne said earlier. And that's what we have for today. Any closing thoughts, questions, comments?
No, I think it's very exciting what you're all doing, and
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
you're helping to keep us informed, which is important.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to working with you as well.
All right, and congratulations on your new positions, co-chairs.
And thank you, Dita.
Yes, and thank you, Dieter and Glorian.
Thank you, Dieter.
Thank you.
We're going into the shadows.
Don't go anywhere. Thank you, this was a nice,
Yeah.
what do you call those? Deck.
Yeah, the format works pretty
Yeah.
well. Good to hear. Thanks.
We could just put them over on that desk if you don't want.
You can save them for next time.
Yeah.
Escape.
That's good, that's your committee.
Yeah,
Do a good job.
yeah.
Well, that brings us to our supervisor and town council member updates. Rick, would you like to
So
bring us up to speed here?
Supervisor and I got to spend a very chilly day, Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon at Good Ground Park for the Great Easter Egg Hunt.
Big
Thank you.
turnout.
Yeah, thank you to the town of Southampton and the Hampton-Bays Chamber of Commerce. Whoever stuffed 16,000 eggs should get some kind of proclamation from us. And we did have over 400 kids running around collecting their eggs. It was a really great day. We got to meet the Easter Bunny and Mother Goose.
Mother Goose made an appearance.
It was a good time. You know, one of the great organizations in Hampton Bays is the Hampton Bays Rotary Club. They had their biggest fundraiser of the year on Sunday, which was the spaghetti dinner at Villa Paul. They had a great turnout. They had, I think they set records in the amount of dinners and amount of participants. So it's always great to recognize, you know, a club of that magnitude. So it was a good day.
It was, thanks. Bill?
Well, today, I got up and I saw the blacktop trucks going down the road. So.
Not for here.
Yeah, but
What is that, about 4 miles worth of?
Yeah.
It's from North Sea to Deerfield.
North Sea to Deerfield. I was on there yesterday. I had to go.
They hope they get it done in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And have it restriped, but the traffic wasn't backed up too bad.
Good. That's so exciting.
It's very excited.
I always say the smell of olive oil smells like progress.
But I did walk around and take a look down into our new septic system. Fuji was there starting it up. Nick was out there supervising and taking it in. The electricians were there.
Oh, here in the town hall parking
Yes,
lot?
in the back. I walked the whole back of the building. I can't wait till we get the blacktop, so then we can start fixing the outside of the building. 'Cause
Yeah.
the front looks pretty bad and the back looks twice as bad.
Oh, good that we're addressing it.
Yes,
Thank you.
slowly.
Yeah, and on Saturday, in addition to those things you mentioned, Rick, there was a pancake breakfast at the senior center that the youth group put on, and they did a very nice job. There were a lot of people there enjoying the pancakes.
Yeah, but I've attended that over the years. They do an excellent job, and the kids seem to get younger and younger, and they're bringing kids to sing a little bit. It's always a great time.
Yep, it was nice. And I did have I was out in yesterday, Sag Harbor, because we had a East End supervisors and mayors meeting, and one of the topics we discussed was tick control. And Dr. Scott Campbell was there from the county's advisory committee, and he spoke for an hour. Everybody was so interested in the different aspects of it. He brought different types of ticks in vials, and he told us how to check for flagging your yard. You can put a pillowcase or a towel on a stick and just walk it around the perimeter. That's where most of the ticks are, to see if you actually have them and what kind. And he said they don't jump or fly, they sit and wait like this for someone to walk by, and then they just latch on. So he talked about different preventive measures, and unfortunately there was nothing about reducing the deer population. So maybe that's something that our board can look into, how to address. I don't know about reducing, but controlling. I mean, North Haven has these stanchions where they have some kind of pesticide that the deer has to walk through to get to the container of corn, and then it kills the ticks on the deer. But it's pretty costly.
There's a number of, I remember the Tick Control Advisory Committee from the county. There are a lot of different perspectives on controlling for ticks and also the deer population. So.
Yeah.
This is another area where controlled burns actually help too,
All right, Michael, that's all I had.
So over the weekend, I joined the Eastport American Legion for we honored Dylan Wayrich. He's Eagle Scout. His work was to create a memorial at the Eastport Cemetery for all the firefighters who passed on. I was there with County Fresk Commissioner Rudy Sunderman. So it was really, really nice, and he did something really great that the community is so proud for, and he thanks the board for us giving him. I know that there was a proclamation that we gave him, so thank you everybody for your support on that. Also, last night I was at the Noyak Civic, and I was there with our Assistant Parks Director, Daryl Baumer. It was a very fruitful discussion. One of the single topics was about the Kabamba in Trout Pond, and we kind of took a consensus on whether or not we want to keep raking the Kabamba out, or if we want like a group like PEP or Surfrider to kind of do some sort of analysis first before we continue to do that, because there's a lot of different perspectives on whether or not that affects the aquaculture, the continual raking of the Kabamba. So it was a very great meeting, and I appreciate the Assistant Parks Director for being there.
Did you decide on?
Yeah, we're gonna do it science first.
Science first.
Move ahead, and I think that's the right decision.
You might be able to find something that eats it.
I think Tommy John's going to still be there pulling it out.
No.
Twice a year he was down there doing the Kabamba.
It's true.
Jay's there beating the drums.
So that's all I
You're
have.
gonna hire somebody to analyze?
Well, we're gonna talk to PEP first. Let's see if it's part of what they do. I know that when I talked to Dr. Joyce Novak, she said that they would be happy to look into it. And again, we help fund a lot of their programming. So I think let's talk to them and see what they have to say, and we could at least come up with some sort of report at the very least, at least a preliminary report to kind of what's going on in the pond and whether or
It
not
makes sense if you're just dispersing more seeds and
that's the whole
creating
thing.
more, then it's.
Correct.
I mean, has that been going on since you said you used to?
Oh, no,
swim
I used
there?
to swim there as a kid. There was no Kabamba.
So
That was
this
brought in
is,
by someone's bottom of someone's boat.
Yeah.
Somebody dumped something.
You have
It was
to-
clear you could see the bottom when I used to swim there as
You
a
have
kid.
to find out what it feeds and what it feeds on. Then you might be able to put something in there what kills what it feeds on.
Correct.
And if it's a fish or something,
Yes.
something that's environmentally friendly.
yeah, because now we know that we might be making it worse by
Could be. Yeah.
pulling it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting that going.
My pleasure. And I gave them a number of other updates as well, including the Noyak Road improvement work. So everybody's very happy there for that.
That's exciting. That's a long stretch of road that's getting paved.
Yes.
Thank
They
you,
want to know
highway.
when the next part is going to happen.
Of
Well,
course
some
they
people
do.
do, but
What's
we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Finish the first part first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finish the first part.
Cindy?
So just a reminder, the Hometown Heroes banner deadline is next Friday, April 18th. The deadline to sign up for the Great East End cleanup is the 23rd. The cleanup will happen on April 26th and 27th. We already have a bunch of groups already signed up, which is great. I went to the East Quogue CAC last night. We continued to have discussions about an East Quogue Park District. They're really excited about the opportunity to potentially fund some things that they really want to get done in East Quogue. Really just more upkeep and maintenance and things that, our community organizations, the beautification, the civic, the chamber have been doing on their own with, limited fundraising. It's kind of hard to keep asking people for more money. So, there's a group that's together that's, representatives from all of those organizations that have really worked together, and they're putting together, costs of things. And so hopefully that would be coming to the board soon for a discussion.
Thank you.
And that actually spawned another discussion. So I'm meeting with Kathleen Murray and our controller Dorota and Kristen Doulos from Parks, and we're looking at the Parks districts as a whole and how they function and how they're funded, and potentially making some changes there as well.
Yeah, oh, good. It's always good to take a second look at things, see how they're working.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything? All right. If there's nothing else. Oh, go ahead.
One last thing. April 26th is Adopt a Pet Day at the town animal shelter. As I've mentioned this before, I just want to make sure I'm putting it back on the record. There are capital upgrades some renovations that have to occur at the shelter. So they're trying to offset some of the intake. So if anybody can adopt a pet, that would be great. If you can't adopt a pet, you can foster. So there's two different programs that they have. We hope that you could get down there on April 26th and help them out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maria.
I know. We'd love to.
Tom's,
All right. If
Tom's watching and he wants a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, are they, so our weekly update on the asphalt for the parking lot here is next week?
Yes.
Hopefully.
Well, he said they were coming to inspect today, and they are out there.
I did see them out there, so.
Yeah, they're looking at inspect it, make the.
Every week I ask it, it's next week.
Yeah.
All right, so then if there's no other business, I move to go into executive session to discuss personnel, contracts, confidential legal advice, acquisitions, and then close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.